Hi, I'm Caesar with More Options Coaching. How are you doing today? Is it a good day? What kind of day do you have? What kind of day do you plan to have today? You see, we all have good days, bad days, or rather should I say days in which we feel good about ourselves and days in which we feel less happy with ourselves. And I am no different, obviously. And once I stopped and looked inside, I wanted to find out what's the difference between the days where I feel good and the days where I feel bad, or not as good as I wished. And I found an interesting thing. Now, I'm not sure if it is the thing which applies to everything and everybody, but it works for me in more than one ways. And it might work for you too. You might want to try it out. I found an interesting distinction that was not necessarily about the things that I was doing in those days, but about the way I related to the things that I was doing. I was seeing them as things that I had to do, or as things that I chose to do. And in finding that, I went a little bit deeper and I discovered that on the days where I felt good about myself, I felt happy with myself, I carried with me during the day a sense of intention, a sense of purpose, which was vivid and colorful inside myself. But it was an interesting distinction again that I found about that particular sense of purpose. And that was that sense of purpose was running in the background, on the back of the mind somewhere. It was like an ongoing, silent presence. In other words, I didn't force an intention in my life just because it was a task, or just because they told me I have to do it, or because it sounds good, or anything like this. Because that would be something that I would impose into my life, something external, which would break, obviously, the flow of life. And once that thing becomes an obligation, a constraint, your being will find all kinds of ways to resist it. And you know what I'm talking about. Procrastination, irritation, pains, aches, all kinds of things like this. The type of intention that I'm talking about is the one that you discover, you take note of it by simply looking inside, becoming conscious, becoming present for a moment, and just ask yourself, what are you about? What are you about right now in this moment? What do you want to create? What are you about in the world right now? And then choose to do that. And then choose to do that. Now, some people might say, well, if I can choose, then I'm going to choose to be lazy and doing nothing all day long. I got that. Now, my question for you is this. Are you doing that lazy? Are you doing that nothing consciously? Because if that's how you feel, even if you force yourself to do something else that you consider a good thing to do, even if you force yourself in doing those things, you might go wrong anyway, because your being will find ways to resist it. You see, in those days, because I had days like that when I just chose to do nothing and chose to do lazy, but I did it into a conscious manner. And I had the surprise that out of nowhere, some idea came up. Some idea came up and I wrote something which was useful. Or perhaps some new understandings came out of nowhere, giving me closure to some learnings that I was struggling with for days. I wrote a post a couple of days ago about when you're doing something, be there. Do that something consciously. Because when I say that you can do nothing or do lazy consciously, I'm not talking about mindlessly playing video games or mindlessly watching TV until your eyes pop out. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about doing whatever you do that thing consciously, being present, paying full attention to whatever it is that you're doing. That thing that you are doing, it is the most important thing in the world right now. And while you're doing the doing, forget about the intention. Don't worry about the intention. That runs in the background. That's the distinction that I found it's crucial. That intention runs in the background, but when you're doing, your presence, your entire being is focused on that particular doing. And obviously, since that doing is contributing to the creation that you declare for yourself that you want to create, you might as well enjoy it. So you're focusing on the doing and you're enjoying it because it contributes to the creation and because you chose to do that. I hope I was clear enough about being conscious while doing something, and tomorrow I'm going to talk a little bit more about that ongoing background sense of purpose, sense of aboutness. Until tomorrow, take good care and have a good day.